Rain poured over the silent parking lot as a billionaire stepped out of his luxury car after a late business meeting. In the corner, he noticed an old sedan rocking gently in the wind. Inside, a young single mother held her 3 sleeping children close, trying to keep them warm with a worn blanket. He almost walked away, until he saw something inside that stopped his heart. What he discovered that stormy night didn't just change her family's future, it changed his forever. The storm had flooded most of the city, forcing many people to seek shelter. Ethan Carter, one of the country's youngest self-made billionaires, had just finished signing a major business deal. As his driver prepared to leave, Ethan glanced toward the far end of the parking lot. A weathered blue sedan caught his attention. It looked abandoned, yet a faint light glowed inside. Curious, Ethan walked closer through the rain. Inside the car sat a young woman named Maya, wrapped in an old coat while 3 small children slept across the back seat. She gently wiped condensation from the window, hoping nobody would notice them. Her eyes revealed exhaustion, but also quiet determination. She smiled softly at her children despite having almost nothing left to give. Ethan politely knocked on the window. Maya hesitated before lowering it a few inches. She expected another security guard asking her to leave. Instead, the stranger calmly introduced himself and asked if the children were safe. Embarrassed, Maya apologized for parking there, explaining she only wanted a dry place until morning because every shelter nearby was already full. As Ethan listened, the youngest child began coughing badly. Maya quickly covered him with another blanket, though it was still damp from the rain. Ethan noticed the little boy's cheeks were pale and his tiny hands trembled from the cold. Without saying another word, Ethan removed his expensive cashmere coat and gently wrapped it around the sleeping child. Maya thanked him with tears forming in her eyes. She explained that only weeks earlier she had lost both her apartment and her job after missing work to care for her sick daughter. Bills piled up faster than she could pay them. Friends helped at first, but eventually everyone faced struggles of their own, leaving her completely alone. Before leaving, Ethan noticed an old notebook lying beside the driver's seat. Its pages were filled with handwritten schedules, children's homework, grocery budgets, encouraging notes, and prayers. Every page ended with the same sentence: "Tomorrow will be kinder to my children." Reading those simple words stirred memories he had buried for decades. Ethan suddenly remembered his own mother writing nearly identical notes while raising him alone after his father passed away. She often skipped meals so he could eat and secretly cried after he fell asleep. Success had made Ethan wealthy, but somewhere along the journey, he had forgotten the sacrifices that built his future. Maya's notebook reopened that forgotten chapter. Instead of offering only money, Ethan invited Maya and her children to spend the night in one of his company's guest apartments. At first, she refused, fearing hidden expectations. Ethan quietly assured her she owed him absolutely nothing. After seeing genuine kindness in his eyes, Maya finally accepted, knowing her children desperately needed warmth and rest. That evening, the children enjoyed their first hot meal in days. Their laughter echoed through the apartment as they played simple games together. Ethan watched from the doorway, realizing that genuine happiness required far less than luxury. The sight reminded him that love, safety, and hope were treasures money alone could never purchase. As Ethan prepared to leave, the oldest daughter handed him a folded drawing she had made inside the car. It showed a tall man holding an umbrella over a small family beneath bright sunlight breaking through dark clouds. Across the bottom she had written, "Thank you for seeing us when everyone else looked away." Ethan quietly wiped away tears before stepping into the night. The next morning, Ethan returned with breakfast for the family. He expected to find frightened children, but instead discovered laughter filling the apartment. Maya had turned an ordinary meal into a joyful moment, making pancakes from simple ingredients while telling funny stories. Ethan realized her greatest gift wasn't cooking. It was giving hope even when life had taken almost everything away. While the children played nearby, Ethan gently asked Maya about her past. She revealed that before losing everything, she had worked as a children's librarian. She loved helping young minds dream through books, but after the library closed and medical bills overwhelmed her finances, every opportunity disappeared. Even then, she refused to let hardship steal her children's kindness or imagination. Ethan couldn't stop thinking about Maya's strength. Instead of offering charity alone, he arranged an interview at the educational foundation his company supported. Maya arrived wearing the only professional outfit she still owned. She spoke with honesty instead of rehearsed answers, sharing her belief that every child deserves someone who believes in them before they believe in themselves. The interview panel was deeply moved. They saw not only experience but compassion that couldn't be taught. Maya was offered a position helping develop reading programs for disadvantaged children. When she heard the news, she covered her face with trembling hands. For the first time in months, her tears came from relief instead of heartbreak. Life slowly began changing. The children enrolled in a nearby school, each receiving new backpacks and books. They proudly waved goodbye every morning while Maya walked to work with renewed confidence. Ethan quietly watched their progress from a distance, refusing to take credit. He wanted them to succeed because of their own strength, not because of his wealth. One afternoon, Ethan visited the foundation unexpectedly. Through a classroom window, he saw Maya reading stories to dozens of children. Every child listened with shining eyes, completely captivated by her warmth. He realized she wasn't simply teaching reading, she was teaching courage, hope, and resilience. The room felt richer than any boardroom he had ever entered. As months passed, Ethan noticed something changing within himself. Business victories no longer brought the same excitement they once had. Instead, seeing families rebuild their lives filled him with genuine peace. Inspired by Maya's journey, he expanded his charitable foundation, creating emergency housing and career support for struggling single parents across the city. During the opening ceremony of the new Family Support Center, Maya was invited to speak. She stood before hundreds of people, holding back tears as she described the night her children slept inside a cold car. She never mentioned Ethan by name until the very end, simply saying that one stranger's kindness reminded her the world still held good people. The audience rose to their feet in applause. Ethan remained in the back of the room, hoping no one would recognize him. Yet the three children spotted him immediately. They ran across the hall and wrapped their arms around him. In that moment, expensive suits and business titles meant nothing. He simply felt like family. That evening, Ethan returned to the parking lot where everything had begun. The empty space where Maya's old car once stood reminded him how close he had come to driving away forever. One small decision to care instead of ignore had transformed two completely different lives in ways neither of them could have imagined. Months turned into a year, and Maya became one of the foundation's most beloved mentors. Parents trusted her because she had lived through the same fears they carried every day. Children adored her because she listened without judgment. Every smile she inspired reminded Ethan that the greatest investment was never money, it was believing in people before they believed in themselves. One afternoon, Ethan received an unexpected package at his office. Inside was the old notebook he had found in Maya's car. Tucked between its pages was a handwritten letter thanking him for returning more than hope. Maya explained that because of his kindness, her children now dreamed about the future instead of worrying about surviving another night. As Ethan turned the final page, he noticed something he had somehow missed before. A faded photograph was carefully folded into the notebook. It showed a young woman standing beside his late mother during a volunteer event at a community library nearly 25 years earlier. On the back, his mother's handwriting read, "Never stop helping strangers. One day kindness will find its way back to you." The discovery left Ethan speechless. Maya recognized the woman in the picture immediately. It was her own mother. She explained that years before, Ethan's mother had donated books to the library where she volunteered and encouraged children to dream beyond their circumstances. Neither family had known their lives would cross again through the next generation. For several quiet minutes, neither of them spoke. They simply looked at the old photograph, realizing that compassion had connected their families long before they ever met. Ethan felt as though his mother's final lesson had reached him years after her passing, arriving exactly when his heart was ready to understand it. The story soon spread throughout the city, inspiring volunteers, teachers, and local businesses to support struggling families. Donations increased, emergency shelters expanded, and countless children received school supplies, meals, and safe housing. Ethan always reminded reporters that the true hero wasn't a billionaire. It was a mother who never stopped believing in tomorrow despite every hardship. Years later, the youngest boy graduated from high school with top honors. During his speech, he shared that he once slept in a car believing the world had forgotten him. Then one stranger chose compassion over indifference. Looking toward Ethan and Maya in the audience, he said that a single act of kindness had changed the direction of an entire family's future. After the ceremony, the family visited the same parking lot where everything had begun. It no longer felt like a place of pain. They stood together in silence, grateful that the darkest night of their lives had become the beginning of their brightest chapter. The children laughed as rain gently began to fall again, but this time they had a home to return to. Ethan quietly established a permanent program called Tomorrow Will Be Kinder, inspired by the words Maya had written in her notebook every single night. The initiative helped thousands of single parents find housing, employment, childcare, and hope. Every family it supported became another reminder that kindness can create ripples far beyond what anyone imagines. As the sun broke through the clouds, Ethan looked at Maya and her children with deep gratitude. Wealth had given him comfort, but compassion had given him purpose. He finally understood that life's greatest fortune isn't measured by the size of a bank account. It is measured by the number of lives forever changed because someone chose to care when everyone else walked away. Moral: true wealth is not found in money, luxury, or success. It is found in compassion, generosity, and the courage to notice someone who is hurting. One simple act of kindness can transform not only another person's life but your own. Never underestimate the power of seeing the invisible, helping without expecting anything in return, and believing that even the smallest act of love can create a legacy that lasts for generations.